Hello, welcome. It's been a pretty long time since I've done one of these weekly reviews in video format, and I know I keep saying this. I think it's such a good thing to have of this sort of communal or more social aspect of trading in terms of uploading videos or messaging with other people and just putting your stuff out there. Right or wrong, it's all part of the learning process, especially since it is such an elite level of activity, right? You're on the same trading floor as major institutions and professionals and things like this, and just going at it all alone is makes it so much harder. So I do like making these videos. I do like verbalizing my thoughts and just reviewing a lot of what's going on. So yeah, this week, general thoughts on the trading week before I start reviewing my trades as well as some setups from the week. Uh, I think overall it was okay. I feel like my edge is just becoming more and more refined as I get a better idea of what I like and what I don't like. I would say the main issue for me is just wanting to be so hands off on the days that I'm green, and so that I can walk away green, and then wanting to really get back in and trade on the days that I'm red. Um, so that's always been an issue, right? Fearful when you're supposed to be greedy, and greedy when you're supposed to be fearful, sort of thing. Um, and I think that's just the nature of, like, you want to keep your profits. You did well, you want to reward yourself, and just call it a day. But I I do know that I have an edge, and I want to capitalize on it. And especially on the days that I am green and I am reading the charts well, I think I need to take more trades and profit more, you know. But this is also difficult because of work in the mornings and things like that. So, make it work for what it is. Anyways, so to start off, this was Monday. I took these. This was a pretty low volume day because it was a holiday. So bond market was closed, banks closed. But I took these two pivots here, right? Placed it to the very bottom right here. And once we already break out, uh, then I know that, and fail and continue back up, I know that the second break below, with a bear bar closing fully below and continuing lower, I'm able to short below that. That's part of my system. Short here, stop here, and I was able to take this trade, sit in it for like an hour through this just tight trading range chop, eventually hit PT, and that was it. I had to go to work, and also it was just, it was kind of ridiculous. I didn't want to be sitting through all this. But also contextually, we had this major sell-off right off the open. So I was betting, that this right here is just a bear flag, a selling channel, controlled buying channel. Building liquidity for bears to continue lower, which is what we got. And then we break down here at this. These are all. So this was the trade I actually took. These are all theoretical setups. We have these pivots here, right, as well as right here. I'm able to place that to the top right here, and this is one of my favorite setups, the anti-algo. It's a very aggressive buy up. However, we do have this rejection right here, short right there, right at this resistance area, this like supply zone, bearish order block, whatever you want to call it, where we had accumulated all of these buyers and sellers here. Then we sold off, we come back, we retest it, start having sellers again, and we reject lower. And this is not the kind of trade you can hold for a big target because of this massive, although we do know we are at a resistance and the bulls are failing to break out, we don't know we are at a pretty strong resistance. We do know that we have quite a strong buy up, and more likely than a equally strong sell off down, getting something like this and this, we're more likely to get this chop here, right? So that's another thing to note. We do break down, we come back and retest, but we retest here as resistance, but you have to keep in mind that at this point we are in this like just chop zone, right? So it's best to kind of just sit out, in my opinion. But we do end up having a pretty nice trade. Another one of my classic setups is we have this algo here, pivoted to the top, failed breakout. Then I know that on the second time we close above that algo, that orange, more tapered. See how a theme that you'll see a lot of this video is different slopes of selling. So we have this teal one here. Well, I drew it in red, but you know what I mean. It's a more aggressive slope of selling. And then we have this orange one. which I'll draw in actually orange. So it's a much more gentle slope of selling, right? You see how the red is more aggressive sellers and the orange is lighter sellers. As more of a range or a channel than very aggressive selling. So I know that once this failed breakout happens, if we get a bull close above and continuation higher, I'm able to long above that. And that's exactly what we have right here on this bull bar long. And that net for a pretty nice setup that I was able to take right there. Just one second. Yeah. Anyways, and then at this point in the chart, we were, yeah, that was pretty much it for the day. I was able to call it there. Here, we have this pretty nice selling with the red channel. And this was a day where I ended up, I didn't take any of these trades. These are all just, hindsight reviews. Because I had work today and I missed this setup, which I'll get into later. However, we do start off in this trading range, and I'm able to kind of draw this channel from here, these pivots here and here, right? And this allows me to place it to the top, as you know. And again, you see the same pattern. Come out, failed breakout, and you're able to short below, giving you a nice trade. And that same algo comes in handy again once we come up, retest it. We know we're at a resistance based off of this, and then this channel here, right, that we have drawn out. And thus I'm able to short pretty nicely right here. That would have been a great setup. This was one that I saw in real time and I wanted to take, but I ended up just pulling out, like not entering the trade last minute because I wasn't fully prepared. I was distracted by other things, and I only saw it, not too ahead of time. Like, well, not before the trade actually ended up playing out. Not long before it actually played out. But this is great. We know we have this bottom channel here, pivot, very nice hold, break below, come back, retest as resistance with this one candle. And I know that this often leads to bull stops getting run, so that's why you have this huge sell-off here, very high volume, because we're breaking below this intraday bull channel, right, that we have drawn out here. So that's one thing that a setup that I do enjoy, because I know it can often lead to pretty strong moves. Break below, wick or candle resistance, and we short below. That's just such a gorgeous trade. Next, we trade back in, which is what often happens as breaks below selling channels often do reclaim and then test the other side like that. And that's exactly the pattern we have here, right? We have this green channel, trade here, like this, right? Trade back in, reclaim. And this would have been a setup on the break back in. Then we retest. We have this retracement here, high or low, giving us this right shoulder, left shoulder, head, and pretty nice volume here. And we hold support back on the channel again, which is the opposite of when we were holding resistance, and we trade higher. Beautiful setup, yeah. Fortunately, I was out that day. These two trades I did take. So anything with a line going to it, to the profit target or the stop loss, those are trades I actually ended up taking. So this pivot here, place, place, place. See how those are perfect holds. And I'm able to take that channel to the bottom right here. And I know that we already have failed breakouts. Failed breakout, failed breakout. And because of that, I know that I can take the close and continuation below, which is what we get right here on this candle wick. However, the issue is that the structure here was lacking, as we've just kind of sold off. There's no really nice retracement, which is what we get on this candle. Let me move this out of the way. Get on this candle, giving us that proper right shoulder, head, right? However, and this wasn't much of a very nice close below either. So that would have been much better here, this close below, and then short there, right? But yeah, I messed up the execution on this. The plan was correct, but yeah. However, I do know that once we fail to break out, I can double band it, which is basically taking that same algo, placing it to the furthest band or furthest breakout, and I can take the close, especially once it fails, which is what we get here. I'm able to take a close, which is what we get right here, and continuation lower. And that was the trade I took. So I took this loss, consolidated my thoughts, caught myself, calmed down, re-entered here, was able to catch a nice trade and end green on the day. Another beautiful setup. This one I did not take. If you take these pivots here, because it is reasonable to kind of expect a bull flag here, because we have this buy up channel, and then we have this sort of bull flag, which is a bear channel, of course, right? So touch here, pivot it to the top, double top, failed breakout. My classic setups. Resistance, and we were able to short lower, giving us that beautiful short down. And that was it for today. Pretty nice moves, especially right here. That would have been a gorgeous trade. Very clean. All right, Thursday. This was a pretty nasty day on my end. I just lost a lot of my cool and composure that I usually have. Granted, I did follow the most important rule, which is stop after 2 trades, 2 losses. That will save you. Yeah, I mean, look, just conceptually speaking, your rules are everything. They form the foundation for your system, for the discipline that's so inherent and intrinsic to profitable trading. And part of it is that trading is so free. You can enter any position, any size, at any time on any asset. But the issue with that then is you have so much freedom that it's easy to just devolve and degrade into bad habits and become a slave ultimately to your your desires, your greed, your fear, and not think in a logical and intelligent manner. So that's sort of what happened on this day, in a sense, where I had drawn this teal channel right here as usual, pivoted to the top, come out, breakout, and I didn't want to take this retest, which is a setup that I do know pretty well, right there. However, initially, we do have this rejection candle here, and I'm able to short below, which I get stopped out on. Structurally, this trade was not terrible. There's not a whole lot of decent bearish structure at this point in time. It's much more to the bullish side, right there, as you can see, although this is kind of hard to make a case for, that head and shoulders I just drew. However, to get stopped out is one thing, and you'll see later that there were such a incredible amount of opportunities after this trade. But really the issue is when I got stopped out, I didn't wait 10 minutes, and I re-entered the trade with pretty much what is the identical setup, without a great structure at all. Come out, trade back in. We have this bull bar close, continuation higher, come back in, and then we just sort of wick here. There's no close back inside teal or rejection. Back inside teal, coming up to retest as resistance again. We just have these wicks holding. Unless I force this short here because of my impatience, because of my frustration with the first trade, which I felt like, this had to go lower. This was what was bound to happen. And that's just not how you're supposed to be trading. That's not mature, profitable trading. And really, what ended up happening is as soon as I entered, we have this bull bar close above the teal algo, which after a breakout, which fails, and this right shoulder structure, head, left shoulder, is a sign for me to go long right here. And that would have netted a profitable trade right there, right? But I messed up, man. I let my emotions get to me, and part of it was also FOMO, which is something I've always dealt with, and I've gotten a lot better, but still, just this idea that oh man, okay, these are the 2 moves. If I don't catch, it's gonna go break low of day, man. If I don't catch this, then it's over, man. Oh, blah blah blah, and it's the sort of thing where, look, there were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 A+ setups that I could have killed after this trade, But look what happened, right? And I'm stuck on this. I'm done for the day. I follow that part of my rule will always save me. I always say your rules will save you. They're everything. So you take 2 losses and you call it a day because you know that something's off, right? And yeah, this was also just out of fear of, look, like this is going to be the main move. I have to catch this short. I have to do this. I have to project my bias, my will, my frustrations and greed onto the market. That's what happened here. So at the very least, this is a learning process, growing process. I have to make these changes and mature from that. On the other side of things, there were some really beautiful setups. There's this pivot here, as you know, that I keep explaining, right? Do this again and again. That's what trading is. It's just repeating the exact same system again and again and again and again. There, right here, we have this failed breakout, chop around, close below. This is our short signal. And I paper traded this actually, and I was able to catch this very nice move. This was on paper because I knew I was already done for the day. We also have this short here. Let me just get this out. Where if I take the more tapered channel, let me just change the color real quick. More tapered channel, which is from yellow, there. Come down here. We have this failed breakout right there, right? Break below, and I have a bear bar closing below, testing as resistance on this yellow channel, and I'm able to short below it, right? Giving me a beautiful trade. And then this is such a gorgeous setup. We have, we have this tapered yellow channel here, same exact channel, and look at that retest. Come out very aggressive, rejection wicks right there, short right here, stop loss there, and we hit our target. Beautiful setup. Then we come zooming back up, and we trade around. And all of this I was, quote unquote, missed, but I was at work, unfortunately. It is what it is, right? And that's such a great motto for life and trading as well. It is what it is, because so many things that we may think are so important and whatnot are honestly completely out of our control. And there's just nothing we can do about that, right? So having this mentality of like, look, man, it is what it is. You did your best, and you just have to keep going. This is so important to have. So we traded back in, had to close below. We ended up, this yellow channel, failed breakout. I know that I'm able to short on a close and continuation lower. We have this close here, but no continuation lower. Eventually, we have this beautiful bear bar closing right on this low. This looks so juicy. Double top here, resistance. Head, right shoulder, left shoulder, and you're able to short below, catching a beautiful short. Yeah, gorgeous. There is this trade setup here, white, holding there, pivot up to the top. We do come back, very aggressive retest, which is what I like. However, I'm pretty sure this trade only hits 1R and not 1.5, and that's okay. I think actually it would have hit. Yeah, it doesn't hit 1.5R, unfortunately. No, it does. All right, that's close enough. But yeah, this is again beautiful setup, exact same as the yellow setup that I just showed you, where we have the head, right shoulder, left shoulder, beautiful structure, come back down, retest, very aggressive retest, short down, beautiful trade. All right. Last day was Friday. Some really nice setups here. Very aggressive sell-off off the open, and I take these 2 pivots here, as you know. Exact same trade. Place it to the bottom of the channel, come down, retest. We have this green wick rejection, bear bar closing on its low, short below, right there, and you catch your target beautifully. Here, exact same setup of pivot to the top, and we do kind of form this head, left shoulder, right shoulder structure. Place it to the bottom, break down, very aggressive retest. We come back, retest beautifully. You can short here. That's a 10 out of 10 setup. Not 10 out of 10, but it's a very nice setup with the continuation structure of this bearish trend. Short there, stop here, and you're able to catch this move down. This was the trade that I did end up taking, which is a short right here, exiting there. Let me explain what's going on here. So we have this teal channel. Let me actually draw it in teal for once. There we go. This is a more aggressive gradient of selling, right? But we also have the red channel, which is this much gentler slope of selling, right? You can see the comparison between the two, right? So part of this is that you have the more aggressive selling, and on breakouts of that fail, you know you're able to short pretty aggressively because you know that the sellers are still coming on strong. And that's what we have here. I know I have this sort of support here, right? Which, lovely, and ends up becoming resistance. We have this failed breakout of the top of the teal channel, which I take from here and here that I explained. Place it to the top, failed breakout, bear bar close below, and I short, catching a nice move and concluding my week there. We actually come down and we test exactly the bottom of this red channel. Let me clean this up. It's such a mess. You can see how perfect this retest is, or this test of the bottom channel. Support, support, support. Right, let me just move that so it's closer. There we go. I mean, just gorgeous, right? And place that to the top pivot. We come out, we break out, and I know that I've said in the past that we have this failed breakout, so you're able to take a bull close above in continuation. And this was a trade I actually took on paper just to test. However, you have this is on a more aggressive channel, algo, which is the teal one, right? You can't take those kinds of trades, especially on such a bearish day. Like, show me a really strong, legitimate higher low this whole day. You can't, right? It's just like this, 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 and then at this point we don't really know what's going to happen, But once we get this very nice buy up, right? We do form a higher low right here, albeit a small one, but we have this very strong buy up on high volume. We retrace lower here, and this is the move that you could have taken long to end the week beautifully. Sorry about that. You have this red channel, right? You break out, failed breakout. You come back in, and you can't short here. You can't just take the anti-algo short because of how strong this buy up is, as well as you'd want something like this, right, to retest and continue lower. So what we do get is trade back in. We ended up trading back in. Right here on this candle, we have a beautiful bull close above and continuation higher on a tapered red algo. And that concludes the week. Yeah, pretty nice moves this week. Green week for me. Look, I took, what was it? 1 green trade on Monday, 0 trades on Tuesday, 1 loss and 1 win, which was larger on Wednesday, 2 losses on Thursday, and then 1 win on Friday. And it's the sort of thing where, all right, my red day, which was 2 losses, was my biggest day of the week, right, in terms of just dollar loss or dollar value. And it's like, all right, well, when I'm up, I also need to learn to capitalize better. I need to get, more skin in the game and take advantage of these opportunities. It can be difficult with work, but there's still availability there. And I think that's one of the things I need to work on moving forward. So, yeah, and just to conclude overall, I feel like it was, generally speaking, a decent week. I, of course, have a lot to work on, but yeah, we'll go from there. Thank you for listening. Appreciate it.